The Islamic Golden Age did not appear out of thin air. It was not an accident of history, and it was not a miracle without roots. It was assembled, carefully, deliberately, out of the ruins of collapsing civilizations. To understand this, we have to go back to the world before Islam. By the 4th and 5th centuries, the Roman world was not collapsing by invasion alone. It was collapsing institutionally. Schools of philosophy were closing. Scientific inquiry was becoming suspicious. Independent thought was increasingly policed by doctrine rather than tested by reason. In the year 529, Emperor Justinian ordered the closure of the Academy of Athens. This was not just the end of a school. It was the end of a 1,000-year tradition of open philosophical debate that had begun with Plato and Aristotle. Greek science did not die because it was disproven. It died because it was no longer welcome. And when knowledge is rejected, it does what people do. It migrates. Scholars, physicians, mathematicians, and translators moved east, beyond the reach of imperial theology, into the lands of Persia and Mesopotamia. There, under the Sasanian Empire, knowledge found something it had lost in the West: patronage. Persia did not ask scholars what they believed. It asked what they could do. Under King Khosrow I, the Academy of Gundashapur was founded. This was the most advanced research center on Earth at the time. Greek physicians worked alongside Persian astronomers. Indian mathematicians shared numerical systems. Syriac scholars translated and standardized texts. This was not preservation. This was integration. For the first time in history, multiple civilizations were no longer working in isolation. They were connected. And here is the part most people never hear. Arabic was not the first language of this knowledge. The true middle layer, the forgotten backbone, was Syriac. Greek science was translated into Syriac long before it was translated into Arabic. Hospitals, libraries, and medical schools already existed and were functioning when Muslim armies arrived. Islam did not conquer empty lands. It inherited working institutions. When the Islamic conquests reshaped the Middle East, something unprecedented happened. The new rulers did not dismantle these centers of learning. They absorbed them. And under the Abbasid Caliphate, the rules of civilization changed. The Abbasids did not ask whether knowledge was Islamic. They asked whether it was useful. That single question altered the course of history. In Baghdad, the House of Wisdom was established, not as a library, but as a state-funded research engine. Translators were paid by the weight of books in gold. Scholars of every background, Muslim, Christian, Jewish, Persian, Indian, debated openly under one roof. Astronomy was refined. Medicine became systematic. Mathematics moved from arithmetic to algebra. Philosophy was no longer memorized. It was challenged. Islam introduced something entirely new to empire-building knowledge as a civic obligation. Learning was not a luxury. It was worship. This is why the Golden Age exploded so rapidly. The fuel already existed. Islam lit the match. Meanwhile, Europe was forgetting. Greek was no longer widely read. Medical practice regressed. Mathematics stalled. When Europe eventually rediscovered Aristotle, Euclid, Galen, and Ptolemy, it did not rediscover them from Greece. It rediscovered them from Arabic texts. More than that, it rediscovered the scientific method itself: experimentation, peer critique, systematic observation. These were not revived from Rome. They were learned from Baghdad, Cordoba, and Cairo. The Renaissance was not a rebirth from ancient Europe. It was a return shipment from the Islamic world. This is the truth that makes people uncomfortable. Islam did not conquer the world with ignorance. It inherited a broken intellectual landscape and chose preservation over destruction. It funded knowledge without demanding ideological loyalty. It connected civilizations instead of erasing them. And for several centuries, it became the beating heart of global science. The Islamic Golden Age was not an accident of faith. It was the moment humanity chose curiosity over conformity, preservation over power, and knowledge over fear. That choice changed the world.